Hi everyone, it's Shar. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. I am here with a video that is short something, because if you are new here, I don't allow myself to be a hater on my channel very often. I will honestly critique books and give you my full review, but very rarely do I go in and just be an absolute fucking hater. I don't even do a worst books of the year video. So I hope that you will allow me this one video to be a hater, because I'm going to tell you about the ridiculous, kind of petty reasons that I dislike certain things in books. I'm going to talk to you about my least favorite tropes, and at the very least, I hope that this is helpful to you in discerning whether or not you and I have similar reading tastes and whether or not you want to accept my recommendations. So without further ado, let's jump on in. I say I'm going to be a hater. It's not my personality, so I'm going to be a hater in a very polite way. So these are the 10 things that I completely irrationally hate in books, in no particular order. First one is a controversial one, although I really don't know why. For some reason, it always pisses people off, but I really hate it when one of the main characters, specifically in a romance novel, says that they don't want kids, but then their happily ever after or their epilogue includes them having kids. Not because I don't think it's okay for you to change your mind if you've previously said that you don't want kids and realize that under different circumstances or with different resources and situations, you decide that you do want kids in that context. But because without doing the legwork and building that, forcing the narrative that all happily ever afters look like and they got married and they have kids is just kind of icky to me when contrasted with the fact that the character in the book, whether that be the hero or the heroine, has said that they do not want children. So when I see this in books and it includes it in the end, it's not going to make me hate the book, but I just don't like that. I don't like continuously pushing the narrative. That is what happily ever after looks like for people, and that is what everyone's life path looks like. In general, I want more exploration of people who are child-free by choice and still have their happily ever after. And if you are going to have the character change their mind about wanting kids, then I need to see the groundwork laid out that way. Otherwise, it just feels like a completely different decision that we got no context for and is directly contradictory to what we know about the character. I'm also going to warn you, it's so fucking hot in this house and I'm filming without the AC on. So like, if you see me sweating in this video, no, you don't. I don't like alpha holes. I do not like disrespectful men. I don't care if he's possessive. I don't care if he's protective. I don't care if he's jealous. I care that he treats the main female character with respect, or he treats the love interest with respect. Disrespectful, hate. Hate, cannot get behind that. I know people love it, but for me, I'm like, no, this person is a man and he's being rude as fuck and I'm not here for it. In addition, grumpy sunshine is a trope that can be a love or hate for me, specifically because I think that sometimes grumpy sunshine is done in a way where the love interest, the grumpy one, is really just kind of an asshole or is emotionally abusive, quite honestly, just very emotionally manipulative, or just treats the sunshine character like shit for the sake of them being grumpy. I don't care what dynamics this is in. I do not like grumpy sunshine if the grumpy here is just treating the sunshine character with complete and utter disrespect. Nope. Now, I am a smut-loving gal. I love a steamy book. I love great sexy scenes in books. But for me, I need the relationship to also be built up in there in order for me to enjoy it. Not always, because sometimes we are just in the mood for something a little bit smutty. But in general, when I'm reading a romance and all they're doing is having sex for 300 pages and I don't actually get to see the development of the relationship outside of their sexual encounters, I don't particularly love that. I don't love sex scenes for the sake of sex scenes, which is not to say I don't love sex scenes, because I do. I like a spicy book. I like a smutty little novel. I don't think there's anything wrong with liking a smutty little novel, but I want that to be balanced with relationship development between the two characters. I don't want the only thing that happens in that book to be that they're fucking, unless I'm specifically looking for erotica. This one is just in all caps. Info dumping. I hate info dumping. I think it is so lazy. I think it is lazy world building, and I get it. It's hard to build a fantasy world. I totally understand it's hard to relay the important information to your audience without info dumping to some extent or another. But I really hate info dumping. I think that it's lazy and I think it's really poor world building. Combined with that, I also hate when the two characters in the stories are kind of like having this back and forth conversation, asking questions and getting answers, kind of interview format, when really as the reader, you know the only purpose of that conversation is to make sure that you have all key elements and information that you need to enjoy the story. Also hate that. This is one of the most irrational things on this list that I hate, the nitpickiness in me. But if your first 100 pages of the story read like I'm reading a fucking dictionary of the world, I'm not into it. This one is one-dimensional characters, and this is in a pretty specific context. I don't like when certain like important character traits are introduced, or as the reader we're told about these important character traits, but then they're not actually integrated into the character themselves. I don't like that because it makes the character feel one-dimensional, and it makes me as the reader feel like the author didn't have a full grasp of how important or relevant this trait was to the character. If it's like minor things like their favorite color or their favorite TV show, whatever, like you can just tell me that one time. I don't need that to be fully integrated into the character. But if you're telling me something about their past, their memories, traumas that they had, mental illnesses that they're dealing with, then I'm expecting that to be handled with care. And I'm also expecting that to be a relevant part of the character's personality. I don't want you to mention it once and then we never see how that affects that character. I think it makes the character feel flat and one-dimensional, and I don't like that. This one is not really something in the book, and I fully acknowledge is out of the author's hands, but as someone who is getting older with not great eyesight, why is font so tiny? Why is font so fucking tiny? Why is my eyesight straining to read the 8-point font you chose to use so the book can be 300 pages? Like, and then it's solid walls of text. Oh my god, I hate that. It makes me feel fucking dizzy. Like, just let the book be longer. Let the book be longer. Why are we cramming what feels like 1,000 words per page? Hate that. In publishing and printing, can we stop? The font does not need to be smaller than 10-point font. And even then, 10-point font is pushing it. I'm just being a petty bitch here. College romances. I've discussed this before. I do not like college romances. I keep convincing myself that I will like a college romance. And you know what? I'm sure that one day I will find a college romance. But in case you've missed this conversation, I work at a university. I work with college-age students all day, every day. I do not fucking want to read about work. And I know that I'm not. I'm just reading about college-age students. But that whole setting icks me out. Just like the same way that your job, you probably don't want to come home and read about your job. I also don't want to come home and read about my job. College-aged anything, no. This is a universal hatred. I think that many of us would agree on this one. Miscommunication or a third act breakup. I don't think all third act breakups are bad. I don't like that generalization. I think that some third act breakups are very necessary to the development of the relationship between the characters. I think that some third act breakups are handled very well. I think that most third act breakups are unnecessary and feel like they're being forced into the story for the sake of conflict. And let me just say, the third act conflict does not always need to be a third act breakup. And we all know what I'm talking about, especially in relation to the miscommunication trope. When you're reading a romance novel and you're kicking your feet and you're giggling, you're thinking they're happy and they're in love. They're happy and they're in love. Why is there 100 pages left of this story? And you just know. You have that sinking feeling. You just know that these characters are going to break up for the stupidest fucking reason you've ever heard in your life. I think it's completely unnecessary. Let's explore some other third act conflicts. And if you want to have a third act breakup, think about what is the purpose of them breaking up? Is this drama and conflict for the sake of drama and conflict? Or is the breakup here going to actually further their relationship and really enhance the reader's experience and show the development of these two characters' relationship and their ability to handle conflict? And as the reader, it just makes me want to drop a star every time. So I'm like, I really enjoyed it up until we got this point and the characters' entire personalities change and all of a sudden they stop communicating like adults. This is a hard no for me. And this is a hard no each and every time. And I'm not going to elaborate. It's going to be full stop. When she calls him master, I don't care the context. I don't care what kind of BDSM thing they're doing. To each their own. But if at any point She calls him master. Instant enough. So besties, that's it. Those are the things that I hate in books. I hope that you at the very least found this entertaining. I don't think I was that mean. I was fully expecting to make this video and be angry and ranting the whole time, but I'm not. These are just things that I don't like in books. I hope it helps you gauge whether or not we have similar reading tastes or if we dislike the same things. Let me know in the comments what your favorite trope is or what your least favorite trope is. And if you've gotten to this end of the video and you want to leave me a comment but you're not sure what to leave, you can leave me a little pink heart emoji just for some love this June, because June's going to be quite chaotic for me. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I am going to see you in my next one. Bye!